P3, Polynomials and Special Products. This lesson has questions similar to ones that we worked on in our first worksheet. In this lesson, we will recognize parts and types of polynomials and look at special products. It says use the polynomial 6x squared plus 3x to the 7th minus 2x minus 9x to the 4th plus 11 to determine each of the following. Writing a polynomial in standard form means you write it from the biggest exponent down to the value that doesn't have a variable at all. So if we look at all the terms in this polynomial, 3x to the 7th should be written first because it has the biggest exponent. Looking at the rest of the terms, I see we have minus 9x to the 4th, takes care of that one, plus 6x squared, there's that first term, minus 2x, and then last but not least we have that plus 11 at the end. That would be written in what's called standard form. Now we talked about this on the worksheet. The degree is the number that represents the biggest exponent. That's 7. Now the lead term is the entire thing, both the number and the variable. The lead term is 3x to the 7th. The lead coefficient is just the number in front, so the lead coefficient is just 3. The constant in the polynomial is a number that doesn't have a variable at all, and it's usually written last if there's a constant, and that would be 11. The linear term means a term with just x to the first power. And in this case, it would be negative 2x. Make sure you include the negative sign if it's out in front. A couple of the terms that we should know as well. A quadratic term is a term that has x squared in it. And that for us would be 6x squared. A cubic term would be a term that has x to the 3rd. And if I look at this polynomial, there are no x to the 3rd terms, so we would say none. The last one, quartic, means x to the 4th. And we have one there, negative 9x to the 4th. So just identifying types of terms in a polynomial. When adding and subtracting polynomials, you simply combine like terms. And we did this in the worksheet as well. Always write your answer in standard form. When you look at the parentheses, what's in between them is significant. If there's a plus sign, like the first example, you're literally just adding like terms together. You wouldn't need any of the parentheses at all. I notice that there's a 5x to the 3rd power and an x to the 3rd power in each of the parentheses. If I add them together, we get 6x to the 3rd power. And that would take care of both of those terms. For quadratics, we have negative 7x squared plus 2x squared. That would give us negative 5x squared. Canceling out those terms. I notice there isn't a linear term in the first polynomial, but there is in the second polynomial. So we would do minus x since we're adding them together. Last but not least, our constant, negative 3 plus 8, gives us positive 5. That's written in standard form. For the next example, it's subtraction. And the big thing with subtraction is I always tell students to distribute that in. And I like to just rewrite it so that it's really easy to combine like terms. If you can combine like terms without rewriting it, that's fine too. We start off with 7x to the 4th minus x squared minus 4x plus 2. And then if I subtract 3x to the 4th and subtract x cubed, if I subtract negative 4x squared, that becomes positive. And then minus 3x. Now looking at my degrees, we have 7x to the 4th minus 3x to the 4th. That would give us 4x to the 4th. From there, a cubic term, I see we only have negative x cubed, so we'll include that. My quadratic terms, we've got negative x squared plus 4x squared for positive 3x squared. Whoops, wrong, whoop, there we go. Negative 4x is the next linear term. Minus 3x, now we can use that one, will give us negative 7x. And then we have our constant of plus 2. And voila, written in standard form. We'll end the lesson with multiplying. And the mnemonic device that we all know and love is FOIL. Now sometimes you may have to FOIL more than like the FOIL, and that would give you a higher ordered polynomial when you're done. The big thing with this, you guys, is to just take your time and make sure that you combine like terms accordingly. X times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. 3 times x and 3 times negative 2. Combining like terms in the middle, you would get x squared plus 1x minus 6. Foiling. Done and done. If you want, go ahead and pause the video and try the next 3. See how you do. Once you've finished, press play and we'll move on from there. All right, let's see how you did. In that next example, when we FOIL, the 2 terms in the middle actually cancel out. You should end up with 25x squared minus 81. Now the last 2 are both on here for a very specific reason. It's actually illegal to distribute the squared in, so don't do that. You can't do that on a polynomial that has addition or subtraction. Anytime you include addition or subtraction in the parenthesis, you must FOIL. Sorry, it's just the way it is. Write it out twice in FOIL, and you get that middle term that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. 2x plus 3 quantity squared equals 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. Following that same idea for 6x minus 5 squared, you would get 36x squared minus 60x plus 25. Please make sure you have these examples written out in your notes. If I check them, this is what will count for full credit. In class, we'll finish the rest of the notes and then you'll be able to work on your homework.